To another country now seeking to get back to the way things sort of once were, Cuba. It was a historic day in relations between the U.S. and that island nation as embassies were officially reopened in D.C. and Havana. It is a big step after more than a half-century of hostility. But as Michelle Caruso-Cabrera reports, there's still a long road ahead.
As both protesters and VIPs gathered outside, the Cuban flag was raised in front of what used to be the intersection, but is now, as of today, that country's embassy, marking the official reestablishment of diplomatic relations between the United States and Cuba for the first time since 1961.
This milestone does not signify an end to differences that still separate our governments, but it does reflect the reality that the Cold War ended long ago, and that the interests of both countries are better served by engagement than by estrangement.
The U.S. government marked the day with far less pomp and circumstance. The Cuban flag in the lobby of the State Department went up at 4 a.m. with no onlookers. 90 miles off the coast of Florida, at what was the U.S. intersection in Havana, no flag raising, no visible sign that this too is now an embassy. Later this summer, however, Secretary of State John Kerry will make a long-awaited and historic trip to Cuba to officially raise the U.S. flag. It's a dramatic shift in the decades-long estrangement between the two countries, one that pollster Fernanda Mondi says demonstrates the changing opinions of Cuban Americans.
I think the fact that an embassy's opening makes this even more of a symbolic and a physical sign of the change. I mean, something that would have been anathema. Frankly, if that embassy would have been here in the late 70s, it probably would have been bombed out of existence. The reaction would have been so violently against it.
Despite the raising of the Cuban flag here in the United States, there's still a long way to go before true normalization between the two countries. Just down the street sit thousands of old documents that represent claims against the Cuban government for U.S. property seized in the early 1960s. Properties like this old soda factory owned by Coca-Cola, a bank branch belonging to Chase Manhattan, and this department store formerly a Woolworths. In total, outstanding U.S. claims are estimated to be worth more than $7 billion today. And according to U.S. law, these claims must be settled before the embargo can be lifted. Just one of many challenges Secretary Kerry and his Cuban counterpart, Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez, still need to work out. In Washington, D.C., for Nightly Business Report, Michelle Caruso-Cabrera.